Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Dirty-O-IDP Throwdown. I'm your host, Axton Harding, here with my lovely co-host, IDP Jake, or at LateRoundDB on Twitter. We're here to give you our Week 2 picks, so I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Jake and let him get underway.
Yeah, we're going to jump right into it with defensive tackle DeForeset Buckner. You probably all saw the huge play, the sack strip recovery for touchdown this week here. But guess what? I think he's in for more of that, taking on the Houston Texans with their weak interior rookies on the inside. I expect a lot more big plays from Defo here in Week 2. At defensive end, I got Aidan Hutchinson. Stat sheet didn't look great against the Chiefs this last week, but man, oh man, was he just wrecking that line. There's a whole thing with how Jawan Taylor was lining up and all that jazz, but I mean, he was just doing his thing. The Seahawks are a very advantageous matchup. I think he takes advantage of it and comes out with a super strong Week 2. At linebacker, I got Campbell. A quiet 7 tackles, 4 solos this week. But really, this is all about the matchup against the run-happy Atlanta Falcons. This is going to be just a feast for him and Quay Walker, but specifically Devondre this week. I think he's going to just have oodles of tackles here in Week 2, maybe even a little splash play in there for us. Lastly, at defensive back, I got Kyle Duggar. Miami showed us they're ready to fully air it out here with 45 pass attempts for Tua. And Duggar finally showing us that he can get a full complement of snaps, 100% snap count and great alignment here in Week 1. So, again, another just large pileup of tackles I think are in store for Kyle Duggar here in Week 2.
Man, after Week 1, I'm scared to go up against you in Week 2. You had a good solid Week 1 so far. We're not quite finished here yet, but I'll dive right into my picks for Week 2. Quarterback, I went ahead and picked Daniel Jones against the Arizona Cardinals. That's a good matchup this week, especially for a quarterback position. Daniel Jones, I think, could take advantage on the ground as well as the air in this one. He didn't seem to look too bad, or he had a pretty good season last year, so I think he's got a good position to take advantage of the Cardinals. He's averaged about 200 passing yards a game and less than a touchdown last year, so get 1 touchdown through the air, throw for 200 yards, and we got a point there. So onto the running back, I went ahead and chose Antonio Gibson this week specifically because in Week 1 he got minimal usage. It seemed like 3 rushes for 9 yards, 1 reception for 10 yards. I think that there's only an arrow going up for him in the next week. I think he's too valuable for this offense not to use him. He was too effective last year, so I think there's no way we can't reach those averages this next week. So moving on to wide receiver, I went ahead and chose Elijah Moore. I like his usage from what I saw today in the Browns-Cincy game. He led all receivers in targets with 43 receiving yards on 3 or 4 passes. I think they got big plans for him this year. So up against Pittsburgh, an exploitable defense secondary, especially I think Elijah Moore's talented and can really take advantage and up that number from 43 to who knows what have you. So that's my pick for wide receiver. Tight end, I went ahead and chose Gerald Everett against the Tennessee Titans. Last year he averaged 35 yards a game. I don't believe he even got that in Week 1. I haven't really got a chance to dive into too many of the stats just quite yet for those 3 o'clock games. But I like his matchup against Tennessee next week, so I'm going to lock him in to get over 35 yards in that one. So there's our Dirty-O IDP Throwdown for Week 2. Thanks, everybody, for listening.